Hi, I'm Alex. If you're new here, welcome. If not, welcome back. I had an idea for a video and I have not been able to stop thinking about it. I haven't seen anybody else do this yet. I really hope nobody does this before I can upload this because I'm just so hype about it. I just want to see what happens. So I was watching Destiny Sidwell's podcast with Sarah Caroli, where they were talking about how you used to get book recommendations before there were like booktubers and book talkers and book influencers, and how you would have to like go to Barnes and Noble and actually browse a shelf, which is so funny to me because I still do that. I don't take all of my recommendations from Book Talk, but anyways, I was like, wow, wouldn't it be fun if for a video I let AI choose the books I read for a week? So today we are going to be using ChatGPT to pick my TBR for next week, which I am so excited about. So I have 3 prompts that I'm ready to give ChatGPT to give me some book recs. So I honestly haven't even looked into how to use it at all yet, so I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so this honestly is way easier than I thought. You literally just type a question into the chat and then it responds. So I have my 3 prompts here that I am going to put into ChatGPT, and let's do it. So the first one is my favorite books so far this year have been The Housemaid, Happy Place, A Court of Mist and Fury, The Final Offer, and All Your Perfects. Why is my husband Snapchatting me? Can you recommend me some books? Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about this. The reason that I'm asking for multiple book recommendations is just in case I've already read it or Barnes doesn't have it in stock. So awesome. So it gave me 10 book recommendations, which is super fun. The first one is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides, which totally fair. Loved that book. The next one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. So that is going to be the first book that I try to get. We'll see if I can find it. Then The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I've read. The Girl on the Train, which I've read. And then we'll write down The Immortalists and The Great Alone. There's really not that many of these that I haven't read, so that's good. And The Bride Test. So that is from prompt 1. Okay, my second prompt is my favorite thriller authors are Frida McFadden and Holly Jackson. We love some YA thrillers too. Can you recommend books that are similar? Let's see what ChatGPT comes back with for this one. Okay, perfect. The number 1 recommendation is actually One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus, which oh my god, conveniently just bought. So I will be reading this to go with the second ChatGPT recommendation, but the other recommendations were The Cheerleaders by Kara Thomas, Sadie by Courtney Summers, The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, The Good Girl by Mary Kubica, The Girl Before by J.P. Delaney, The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan, The Silent Patient again, The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn, and The Perfect Mother by Amy Molly. So I'm going to save all of these recommendations and just have them on a list because I feel like this is so good. All right, last prompt. I am a 25-year-old woman who loves reading, data, and Disney. What fiction books would be best for me to read? Let's see what it thinks. Okay, this one, it gave me descriptions for each book too, which is so fun. So based on your interests, here are some fiction book recommendations for you. It started with The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which we already decided I'm going to read. It's a historical fiction novel set in France during World War II, strong female characters and themes of love, family, and sacrifice. The next one is The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. It's a rom-com about a socially awkward genetics professor who creates a questionnaire to find his perfect partner but ends up falling for someone completely unexpected. I love that. That sounds so fun. It reminds me of The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren a little bit, which I think is awesome. Next is The Hunger Games, which I have already read numerous times, so I will not be putting that on here. Next is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. It's a fantasy novel about a wizard who tells the story of his life through themes of magic, adventure, and self-discovery. Sounds like Harry Potter. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is actually already on my TBR. It's available as an audiobook through Libby for the college that I work for, so I definitely want to read that. The next is The Alchemist by Paula Colo, which I've read. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which was on my list actually, and I almost bought it and then I didn't for some reason, so I'm going to write that one down. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, which I've already read. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which I've read, and The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, which I've read. It's interesting to me that so many of these books seem to be YA because I told ChatGPT that I'm 25, so it's interesting to me that they picked mostly YA books. But we are going into this with the goal of getting The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, reading One of Us is Lying by Kristen McManus, and either The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson or The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So let's go book shopping! Y'all, I think for the first time since 2017, Julia Michaels is not going to be my top artist on Spotify this year, which is absolutely wild, but I have been in my Taylor Swift era because of the Eras Tour and Swift Talk. All of the Girls You've Loved Before is like one of the best songs she's ever put out, and also now that she's releasing Speak Now, Taylor's version, I just like, it's over for me. But I am on my way to Barnes. I know you probably did not care about my Taylor Swift update, but I'm on my way to Barnes right now to get The Nightingale and The Rosie Project. I looked online and it said they have both, so hopefully they do. I am also like about to finish Haunting Adeline, so I'm going to see if they have Hunting Adeline, because I do want to continue reading, even though this book makes me very uncomfortable sometimes, not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get that, and I don't know, maybe we'll do a little browsing. I was thinking about getting Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, just because the cover of Meet Me at the Lake is so pretty, but I feel like I can't get one and not the other, and I still haven't read it, so we'll see. But I did spend $150 on books last weekend, so maybe I'll try to control myself, but I don't know. I haven't been to this particular Barnes in a long time. I'm also getting breakfast for my husband and I while I'm out, so I'm going to a different Barnes than normal. So we'll see what they have, but sometimes when I come here, their selection is sort of garbage, so we will see. That's all I have to say. It looked like they had what I needed online, so I don't know. It looks busy. I hate that. We'll see how much I film. First stop, as per usual, Starbucks. I swear, they have 500 books and buy one get one 50% off. None of them what I need. I did already grab 2 though, neither of them being what I said I was coming here for. My hair is so gross, I cannot wait to go home and shower, but I was just so excited to go to Barnes that I couldn't wait. But I just came out of the store, and I know I said on the way here that this Barnes normally kind of sucks, They were fire today. They did not have Hunting Adeline, but honestly, that's fine. I think I'm gonna need a break before continuing this duet anyways. So I'm not that torn up about it. So unfortunately, they only had one copy of The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and the cover was like ripped, and I can't do that to myself. So I was debating on between buying it on my Kindle and just going with another one of the ChatGPT recommendations. And I decided I was just going to go with another recommendation because that book is also almost 600 pages, and I feel like a 600-page historical romance is going to put me in a book slump. So I do want to read it eventually. It sounds incredible. I'm sure I'm going to love it, but I can't right this second. I did, however, walk out with 6 books, so let's talk about it. Instead of The Nightingale, I ended up picking out The Bride Test by Helen Huang. This was one of the books that ChatGPT recommended in terms of like a romance that was similar to the books that I've liked so far this year. And I have read The Kiss Quotient and I did enjoy it, so I was excited to see this on that list, so I picked this one up. And then I was able to find The Rosie Project, which was exciting. I was surprised to hear that to see that this was in the fiction section and not the romance section, which I think is the problem with this Barnes, is that everything is in fiction instead of romance. They have like literally less than one romance shelf. And I think that's why I've never liked it, because I didn't realize that before today, that all of the books are just in like general fiction. And then I picked up Every Summer After and Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I just think this cover is so gorgeous, and I do really want to read this. I'm going to film like a summer TBR soon-ish, and I definitely wanted those for that purpose. I guess I'm putting this video out first, maybe. I don't know. In my 24-hour reading challenge, that if it's not already out, it's coming out soon, I read Heartstopper Volume 1, so I picked up Volume 2 because it was on sale. And then I also got Killjoy by Holly Jackson, which I think I could have read online for free and not pay $12.99 for it, but I really like Holly Jackson, and I really want to read more of her writing, but I don't want to get the hardcover if I survive. So that's it for Barnes. That's it for the like random clips that are not actually me reading these books. Let's get into the meat of this video. Okay, so I'm currently waiting in the drive-thru line to get lunch, and I have not filmed anything for this video in 6 days. I started this on Saturday. Today is Friday. And since the last time I spoke to you, I finished Hunting Adeline, read the entirety of Hunting Adeline, read Bossy Pants by Tina Fey, and finally back into One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. I read the first 50 pages of this on Saturday, and honestly, I like put it down on my nightstand and went downstairs to eat dinner and stuff, and then fell asleep downstairs, and when I woke up I was in the mood to read but not in the mood to go upstairs and get my book, so I just started Hunting Adeline on Kindle Unlimited, and I wasn't like hooked yet at that point, but yesterday, as you saw, I sat at Starbucks and read for a bit, and got through like 65 pages in 25 minutes or something, which is wild. It's definitely a fast read and I am now enjoying it, but it took me like probably 85 or 90 pages to like be fully invested, and at this point I am exactly 50% of the way through the book, so I'm very curious what's gonna happen. But that is the update for now. I also just put a bunch of stickers from Probably Smut on my Stanley Cup, just because I got one of these stolen from me at work and I want to be able to identify if it happens again, so we're all good there now. Okay, it's super early on Saturday morning, like 7 a.m. and I finished One of Us is Lying at like 4:30 or 5, so counting it technically towards Friday, because it was before I like went to bed, but I thought that this book was good. I rated it 4 stars. I definitely liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder better, but I thought this was interesting. I did call the plot twist, which I have a love-hate relationship with doing when I read thrillers, so yeah. ChatGPT so far recommended me a book that I am rating 4 stars, so I would consider that a success. And where are the other books? I think that next I am probably going to read They're Downstairs. I think next I'm probably going to read The Bride Test by Helen Hoang, although there's part of me that wants to read The Rosie Project just because I already sort of know that I'm going to like The Bride Test. Not sure. A new video game came out yesterday, so that's what my husband will be doing all day today, which means that I'll have ample time to read. It also looks a little cloudy out and like it might rain right now, which was not on the forecast, but would make it for the perfect reading day. Okay, so I decided for book number 2 for this video, I was going to start The Rosie Project. I'm like 30% through it right now. It's only 292 pages, so it's super short. I would say for being 100 pages in, I'm not like the biggest fan. I could see, like, if somebody said to me the kiss quotient, which, where's my copy? If somebody said to me that the kiss quotient was like very loosely inspired by this book, I would believe you. So this is about a geneticist who, which makes it sound like it's like the soulmate equation, but it's about a geneticist who has, I'm assuming, Asperger's, but they haven't directly said that he has it. They've just asked him a bunch of times if what he was studying about other people with Asperger's sounds relatable to him, and he does possess a lot of the similar qualities, so I'm not entirely sure if that's a thing or not, but it definitely seems like it. He definitely has some, I don't know, he's not the best with like social cues, so he is trying to implement this wife project to find somebody to date. Again, sounds a little bit like the soulmate equation, but then he ends up like basically fake dating somebody to teach him how to have social interactions. So it's been interesting so far. I don't know. I feel like it's heading towards being 3 stars. I feel like if it was longer than 300 pages, I honestly feel like at this point I might DNF it. But because it's so short, I'm going to like push through and finish it because it won't take that much of my time and energy to finish. But I understand why this was recommended to me, but I don't know. I think this one may be a miss. I'll keep you updated. Okay, so we just got back from having a little picnic and reading in the park. It's like Sunday afternoon. I don't even know what time it is, like almost 2 or something. I am on page 182, so it doesn't look like it, but I'm 2/3 of the way through the book. I only have 90 pages left, and I don't know. I feel like I like it, but I'm still not invested. I still don't particularly care. Some of it I feel like is reminding me a little of watching Spencer Reid's journey in Criminal Minds when he's like falling in love, which is interesting. But I don't know. I feel like the writing feels pretentious, but I think that's just because it's the brain of the narrator. This is written by a male. It's the first romance novel I've read that was written by a male, from like a male POV. since like John Green in high school, other than Austin Siegmund Broca, is that his name? In The Roughest Draft, but I don't know. So that's the thing. And this guy's also incredibly smart. He has 2 nonfiction books on database design, which is what I work in, which is fun. That is why I think ChatGPT recommended this book to me. But yeah, I'm going to keep chugging along, try to get through these last 90 pages, and I will update you when I'm done. I feel like this is a terrible angle, but it's starting to get darker outside, so I wanted to be like near the window. But I just finished The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. I don't know if I've even said that, but I rated it 3.5 stars. I would say it got better towards the end. I think I told you that I was shaping up to be a 3-star book. I do think it started to get better. I felt like the author like found his flow of writing. This was his first fiction novel, so I'm sure that like played into it. It's also an Australian author, which I don't know that I've read a book by an Australian author before. So it's interesting. It was also written 10 years ago, so I'm sure that plays into it as well. But I think that there was just one like thing about this book that bothered me, and it was that the main character was so focused on like people's, specifically what their BMI was, and every time he met someone new, he would estimate what their BMI was and then make some sort of comment, whether it be in his head or out loud, about that. And I know that that's like he's on the autism spectrum, and like that's a thing, like I understand, but I don't know, it's not like the kindest thing to read, and it did kind of irk me. So 3.5 stars for The Rosie Project. Again, I fully understand why ChatGPT recommended this to me. Also, there are praises on the back on the front. I don't know, I read comments somewhere comparing this to Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory, and sort of watching him. I will say Rosie is nothing like Amy Farrah Fowler, but I do think that the main character, Dawn, was sort of like Sheldon. So if you're a fan of that show, again, like I said, if you like Spencer Reid and Criminal Minds, like watching his process of like falling in love and becoming sort of more human, then this book would be good for you. But on to The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. Okay, it's Monday now. It's been over an entire week since I started filming this. Today's book of the day is going to be The Bride Test by Helen Hoang. I tried to start this yesterday and honestly just didn't want to. I was reading the back of this. I was so excited to read this book. I don't know why I thought it was like something different, but I was reading the back and it sounds like almost the exact same plot as The Rosie Project. So I already feel myself not rating this super high. Haven't even read more than 2 pages yet, but I am in the mindset of I need to finish it so I can get back to books that I want to read, which is not a great way to be starting a book. And also, this is the exact same plot as the book I just read. I should have read One of Us is Lying in the Middle, but that's my own fault. So, let's read it. Okay, it is now Tuesday. Yesterday I read 73 pages or 72 pages of The Bride Test. Today so far I'm on page 122. I ideally would like to finish this tonight, but honestly today is the first day of my period and my cramps are horrendous and I am in a ton of pain. So I have a second Starbucks drink to try to cure some of that. I don't know where I was when I got cut off, but I'm on my lunch right now. I'm about to head back to campus and try to work for the rest of the day. I honestly am just in so much pain now that I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I just have to do like a webinar and a couple of smaller things, mostly just waiting for people to respond to emails. So back to work and then back home to finish the bride test, hopefully. So I finished the bride test today. I think last time I talked to you, I had read like 70 pages of this. Have I even talked about this book Yeah. Yeah, I told you yesterday I'd read the beginning of it, I think. I finished it today. I had like 50 pages left this morning, so I just knocked that out before I even started work for the day. I ended up rating this 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot more than the Rosie Project. Which surprises me because this is in third person, and if you've listened to me talk about books before, you know I don't like books in third person. But I do just think that having that other book from like written by a male author and having so much focus on what like bodies looked like really took me out of it. And maybe that's because that's what men do. I don't know. Maybe that's because that's what was acceptable in 2013 when this was published. I'm not sure. But I do think it kind of ruined the reading experience of that book. It was an unnecessary detail that they didn't need, but all I kept thinking was how if I met Don that he would be doing that to me, and it just like made me mad. Whereas this book I loved. I actually really want to go through and read it again and annotate it. I was mad that I didn't do it the first time. I think I got like 150 pages in and I was like, ugh, I wish I had just done this from the start. Because there are so many just like funny, cute, like sweet lines. I think that this author does a great job at depicting the people on the spectrum and how they feel, and I don't know. I think she does great with it. I think she did great with the Kiss Quotient as well. But that is going to be it for this letting ChatGPT pick my books for a week video. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see with ChatGPT. I'm interested in some of its other capabilities and now that I have seen what this was like. Overall, it gave me 2 4-star reads that I really enjoyed, both of which were sort of on my like want to read eventually list anyways, so worked out well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.